Alright, response video to Nick the Modern Mystic. Try number 2. I forgot to turn the audio camera on. It's stupid. These technical issues. So, a brilliant video wasted. And so now I won't remember what I already talked about, and I'll think I'm being redundant, so it's going to be, half as good. But anyway, alright, Nick, I don't disagree that it gets complicated when you start talking about all these different interests that are playing on the system, but you really have to talk about the system. And it's about the foundation of the system, and I'm just going to argue there's like 10 things that have to be done. The foundation has to have, and if it doesn't have those 10 things, you can build on it forever and ever, and it's always going to fall down because the foundation is no good. So you're just wasting your time. You can't tweak this system. You can't make some fixes up here. You got to make the fixes down at the base. Alright, there's just no saving this building. It's going to keep crashing. It's going to do this every 80 years, every 100 years, whatever it is. It's going to keep falling down and making huge giant messes, huge disaster, huge holocaust, create huge exploitation, inequities, abuses, waste, nonsense. It's just a waste, huge waste, because we won't rebuild the foundation. And you argue like it's futile to rebuild the foundation. It can't happen. Well, I'm arguing no, it's futile to tinker with the building that's 100,000 feet high when it's leaning the wrong way and it's just doomed to fail. That's futile. It's futile to put stick 1 on a bad foundation, and putting stick 9,642 on it is really dumb. So anyway. Change does happen. I mean, people voted for women's suffrage. I mean, there's been radical changes in political history, and so that's what we have to fight for and hope for, because we got to fix the foundation of the economy. And there's like 10 things that have to be done. If you do 8 of them, it's no good. You got to do all 10 of them. And yeah, we can talk about the currency, and that's one of them, and so fine, let's do that. But without the context of the big picture, it's no point. I mean, I'm trying to draw a basic outline of what this foundation has to look like that'll guarantee you a system that you can always keep from leaning and falling down, because you can regulate it and balance it. I mean, you want to get into specifics and stuff, okay, but I don't see any point in it. Alright, as for commenters, yeah, it was brilliant that the guy, the Aristotle quote came up just right. I like when I accidentally quote Aristotle. That's kind of fun. Like minds and all, so that's flattering to me personally. From my own perspective, I like it. So anyway, but yeah, look at the comments now on the new video. Gold standard, gold standard, gold standard. No, gold standard didn't work because people can hoard gold, okay? And then people can control the value of money, and you can have all kinds of international intrigue. The Soviets could end up stockpiling it and destroy the value of our, and then all of a sudden flood the market with it, just destroy our whole friggin' economy. What if somebody makes a gold strike somewhere, finds a ton of gold, it increases the amount of gold supply by 50%. All of a sudden they own 50% of the world. I mean, that would be insane. No, you need a market basket of commodities: gold, silver, platinum, uranium, wheat, flour, sugar. Put them all in there and guarantee the net price of all those commodities established to the value of $1. So you would end up with the basket of those goods. So then, and any substance that started fluctuating too much in its value gets thrown out of the basket. And if somebody wants something, the government has a contract and it'll guarantee the price, and it'll do the conversion. And if the government has to pay extra for something and give it to you, then it ends up having to burn some cash. That's how you regulate the value of money. All right, you either print more of it or you burn it. Those are the two choices the government has. It can regulate the value, keep it consistent with the basket of commodities, fine. All right, we don't have to stockpile a zillion tons of anything. We don't have to have a bar of gold for every dollar printed. I mean, that's nonsense, silly nonsense, complete waste. And what is money? Money is just a friggin' reliable contract. That's all it is. It's a guaranteed contract. People in the past they made a contract. They didn't have an army to enforce the contract. The contract could be written in invisible ink, disappearing ink. That's so the government just guarantees the contract now. No invisible ink, and you gotta pay the dues. All right, the contract's guaranteed. So that's all currency gives us. It's a guaranteed contract. But in this economy, we create a bunch of unguaranteed bullshit contracts, a bunch of stock paper and bullshit that they've established has equal value to this federal currency, okay? But it's not the same kind of a contract. It's a bullshit contract. It's even an incomprehensible contract. It's bullshit money. You can't tie our, you know, we need a gold standard type idea, but what we have now is a stock market standard. The stock market's deciding what a dollar bill is worth. And the stock market is completely made out of perception. It's not made out of any reality. People buy stock and they think they own something. They own nothing. The company's not worth in its physical structure. You know, it's present day immediate structure. What they say they think it's worth, it's a 50-time diminishment in value. And that's the reality of it. It's an investment in profit, not an investment in workers and consumers. All right, so the business is totally focused on paying the owners a profit, and it doesn't give a damn about employees, and it doesn't give a damn about consumers. So even though the business could be satisfying employees and consumers and running efficiently enough to do that, if it's not providing profit, it's out of business. They're not going to run the business. They're going to kill the business because it's not feeding the only interested party based on their evaluation. The only interested party are the profiteers. And so yeah, we got to kill that bullshit. You know, money can't be allowed to make excessive money. It just isn't going to work. So yeah, of course we kill inflation, or we at least have a system that balances inflation so that the value of the money is always increasing with any created inflation. So it's not that complicated. But this whole idea of money having surplus, having innate value, way beyond expenses and all that kind of crap. Like I said, if we're going to have a lending system, the lending system should be merely the expense of the lending. How much failure is there in the lending? So all the bankruptcy should be paid by the people borrowing the money. You know, what's the paperwork, bureaucracy expense, the infrastructure, building expense, and that's it. That's what the lender should be paying. And the people holding the cash should be basically just getting their money back. They're guaranteed, and that's it. You know, I mean, there's no need for profiteers. There's no need for people bleeding, leeching off that system. There's no interest in that. Alright, so what else needs to be said here? Yeah, well, whatever. So I don't know what else to say on that. Like I said, we know what money is. It's just a contract. It doesn't mean anything. It shouldn't have intrinsic value. It should just have established value, and a guaranteed value. Telephone. Well, I'll end the video here. It's enough. So till the next line of inquiry.